we see China, the bully of Asia, always intruding in our West Philippine Sea.
Erwin Tulfo, isinulong sa Kamara ang pagpapatibay sa Philippine Coast Guard. Mga kongreso, suportado naman ito. Pero bago ang lahat, maaari kayong mag-subscribe para maging updated sa mga issue at bagong mga balita. Isinulong nga ngayon ni ACT-CIS Representative Erwin Tulfo sa mataas na pagpupulong ng Kongreso ang modernisasyon at pagpapatibay ng Philippine Coast Guard. Marahil umano sa banta ng pananakop ng ibang bansa, lalong-lalo na ng China, na siyang inaatake ang mga kababayan nating mangingisda at unti-unti nang inaangkin ang West Philippine Sea. Ayon kay Tulfo, kailangang paghandaan ang banta ng pananakop sa pamamagitan ng pagpapatibay ng sandatahang lakas pangkaragatan o Philippine Coast Guard. Narito ang buong detalye.
Thank you, Honorable Madurona. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Erwin T. Tulfo of the ACT-CIS Party List to deliver his sponsorship speech.
The Honorable Erwin Tulfo of the ACT-CIS Party List is recognized to sponsor the measure.
Mr. Speaker, members of this august body, I enjoin everyone to support House Bill number 10841, a vital measure that seeks to modernize and strengthen the Philippine Coast Guard through comprehensive policy and organizational reforms. At a time when our nation faces increasing challenges in safeguarding our maritime territory, this bill ensures that the PCG is equipped with the tools and resources to fulfill its mandate effectively. The importance of maritime security cannot be overstated, Mr. Speaker. Everyone knows fully well how much our fisherfolk and PCG personnel have suffered over the past few months because of the harassment and aggressive maneuvers of the Chinese Coast Guard in our very own waters. Firm in our stance against these unlawful acts, but from the perspective of diplomacy and international support, we remain committed to enhancing instead our defense and surveillance capabilities and strengthening the coordination between government agencies and international partners. Mr. Speaker, this bill is a culmination of such efforts. By empowering the PCG, this legislation reinforces our commitment to assert our sovereignty and protect our maritime waters, ensuring the safety of our fishermen and coastal communities. With modernized assets, enhanced personal training, and improved funding mechanism, the PCG will be better positioned to respond swiftly and decisively to emerging threats. In our ongoing fight to assert our sovereignty in the West Philippine Sea, House Bill number 10841 is both timely and necessary. It strengthens the PCG's role as the first line of defense in maritime security while positioning the Philippines as a responsible maritime nation. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I urge everybody to prioritize the swift passage of this bill for our future and the future of our children. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good afternoon.
Thank you, Honorable Tulfo. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez of Cagayan de Oro for his manifestation.
The Honorable Rufus Rodriguez is
Thank
recognized.
you, Majority Leader. Mr. Speaker, I stand here before this august chamber to support and manifest the support of this representation, not only as co-author of this very vital bill, but to be able to appeal to our distinguished members to unanimously join hands together to be able to support this bill. Mr. Speaker, the Philippine Constitution has 17 articles. It starts with the preamble, and then we have national territory. Article 1 of the Constitution is national territory ahead of Declaration of Principles and State Policies. And why is that so? Because the primordial goal of a government is to protect its integrity, its territorial integrity, and to protect the people of the Republic of the Philippines. That is why this bill will assure us that another agency of government, aside from the Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Philippine Navy, we have the Philippine Coast Guard, Mr. Speaker. Because after all, the Philippine Coast Guard is in charge of maritime safety and security of our country. We see China, the bully of Asia, always intruding in our West Philippine Sea. The 1981 United Nations Convention of the Law of the Seas is very clear. The exclusive economic zone is from the baseline's 200 miles nautical zone, and that is where, according to the UNCLOS of 1981, there is sovereign rights of a nation under the United States Convention on the Law of the Seas. And we filed a case during the time of the late President Pinoy Aquino. We filed a case against China, Mr. Speaker, in the International Arbitral Tribunal in Den Haag, Netherlands. The result was very, very clear, Mr. Speaker. China lost all its points. The Philippines won all the 8 points that we brought about in our case. And therefore, it has been ruled by an international tribunal that the 9-dash line of China has no basis in law and in fact. Hainan is more than 1,000 nautical miles away. We have 200 miles that we have. And so therefore, Mr. Speaker, this is very opportune, and I'm very happy that it is now on the floor, because there is a felt need to immediately support our Philippine Coast Guard. Through what means? First, by elevating the positions to the similar positions and ranks of the same uniformed services helping our country. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, we are going to open and establish the PCG Modernization Trust Fund. And we will be appropriating, in the appropriations provision, we'll be appropriating, Mr. Speaker, 1 billion a year after we give them from the funds now for this current year. And they are allowed, Mr. Speaker, as approved by the Ways and Means Committee, they are allowed to receive donations, bequests, and grants. And secondly, thirdly, they are able to get loans, Mr. Speaker, so that they will modernize the Philippine Coast Guard and its men and women in terms of benefits. Mr. Speaker, this particular bill is opportune also because the bill of the House of Representatives, the Maritimes Act bill, the Maritimes Act of the Philippines, has already been approved by both chamber through two BICAM. It will be soon sent to the President of the Republic of the Philippines for signature. And then we declare in law, not only international declaration of the UNCLOS and the Tribunal, we are going to therefore enlarge our national territory article by now stating clearly that the 200 miles economic zone is the maritime zone of our country where the Philippines has sovereignty, Mr. Speaker. Second, we just approved in the BICAM the Archipelagic Sea Lanes Bill, which will be sent probably next week to the President for signature. This Archipelagic Bill, which I am a co-principal author, and the Maritime Bill, which I am the principal author for the past three Congresses. Mr. Speaker, this Archipelagic Sea Lanes Bill will only allow three lanes for the Chinese to pass. Now they go to near Batanes, they now go to near Basilan, they go everywhere. These Chinese vessels, they are swarming over not only the West Philippine Sea, but they are near our baselines. And they will pass through in the guise of innocent passage. Not anymore, Mr. Speaker, because now they cannot enter our internal waters. Internal waters are bays. These are bays where when you close the bay, that is internal waters. Now, our archipelagic waters, indeed, under the freedom of navigation in international maritime law, they can pass. However, Mr. Speaker, they can only use 3 of designated lanes by the office of the President. So they cannot just go anywhere. And when they deviate 20 nautical miles away, they will be apprehended by the Philippine Coast Guard led by Commodore Gavan, Mr. Speaker. Sorry, Admiral. Please correct the record. Because we have Admiral Gavan here, and we have the Commodore. So, it's very clear that with this bills becoming law, and this bill of the PCG becoming law, under the leadership of Admiral Gavan, we can rest be assured that we have a fighting Philippine Coast Guard that will implement our national territory provisions and then implement our Philippine Maritime Zone Act and implement the archipelagic sea lanes of the Republic of the Philippines. Therefore, no agency today in this present setup, in this present problem that we face, but the Philippine Coast Guard that we have to depend on, Mr. Speaker. And that is why I earnestly ask all of our distinguished colleagues to show our unanimous support to the approval of the bill and act strengthening the Philippine Coast Guard of the Philippines. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Welcome again to Admiral Gavan and all these gentlemen and ladies here. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Rodriguez. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I now move that we recognize the Honorable Arlene D. Brosas of the Gabriela Party List for her interpellation.
The Honorable Arlene Brosas is recognized to interpellate the sponsor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker. Will the good sponsor yield to some questions po on some sections of the proposed bill of the revised Philippine Coast Guard law, Mr. Speaker?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, to my esteemed colleague, Congresswoman Arlene.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Siguro yung first question, Mr. Speaker, it's about the Philippine Coast Guard. Lagi po siyang nasa limelight ngayon in recent months because of the growing tensions in the West Philippine Sea. Given that the Republic Act number 9993 or the Philippine Coast Guard Law was enacted in 2009, may nag-iba po ba or nadagdag sa functions ng PCG para maging ready sila in their very own capacity to protect the Philippine territory. Ano pong mga provisions yon doon sa proposed bill?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, the most important provisions that were not present in RA 9993 are the following. In the current bill, we are proposing the institutionalizing of the three core functions. These are putting three Coast Guards with three different functions: maritime safety, maritime security, and maritime environment in every coastline that we have. This is not in the old law. In the old law, there's also that discrepancy where our Coast Guard is considered one rank lower compared to the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the PNP, when in fact, work-wise, and especially now, in the light of what's happening in the West Philippine Sea, we can see that the Coast Guard really is always there and has to be fully ready to defend our country. There are yet other minor provisions here that are there, but those are the two most important provisions that I think should improve our Philippine Coast Guard this time, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, dito sa sinasabi ninyo na mga functions, sa powers and functions, inad yun, yung mga binabanggit ninyo.
Opo, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, kung matatandaan niyo po noon or 10 years ago or even 20 years ago, ang pagkakilala po natin sa Coast Guard, taga-clear lang ng barko. Taga-bilang ng mga pasahero at sinicheck kung overloaded ang mga pasahero. Ngayon po, meron na rin trabaho ang Coast Guard to ensure maritime safety and then to ensure maritime security and more importantly, to ensure maritime environmental protection. Napakarami na po nating mga nangyayari, lalo na yung nangyaring paglubog ng isang barko sa may Mindoro, at ito recently po dito sa...
The oil spill?
Yeah, the oil spill. Nakita po natin yung responsibility ng Coast Guard na sila ang talagang nanguna doon. That was not during that time yet fully implemented, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, kapag sinabing maritime, tama ba? Maritime security, maritime safety, ano pong ibig sabihin nun?
Well, maritime safety is like ensuring the compliance of our vessels in accordance with the, with the documents that are given to them. And of course, for maritime security, to ensure exactly the shorelines. You know, the Coast Guards are the most efficient now as far as coastlines are concerned. Like for example, in my province of Romblon, which is an archipelagic province, there are a lot of times that we get information na mga lost at sea. Ang Coast Guard po ang nangunguna sa pagpunta sa kanila para sila po ay ma-retrieve, no? The latest that you have probably heard is that 20 passenger boat that came from Boracay going towards an island then nalubog po yon. Well, fortunately, 10 survived. 3 were found dead in my province, and 7 cannot be seen already. Well, presumably eaten by the sea. Yun ang mga trabaho ng Coast Guard.
So yun po yung safety na binabanggit dito.
At saka,
Sa security po,
security po, ma'am, sa mga, you will see that even in, in our vessels, we have, we have already security, Coast Guards are there to man, especially during the travel. And then, of course, we are also, for the safety, we ensure that all the vessels are compliant with the IMO, SOLAS, and STCW regulations.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, ang tinatanong ko po particular sa security, ano yung nadagdag sa before? Will they be armed? Yung ating PCG ngayon. Yun ba ang
Yes.
binibigay nating power sa kanila?
Yes, right now, ma'am, right now, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, our Philippine Coast Guard are now much better equipped already, especially after the, how do you call that, after the enactment of RA 993. But yet, this Coast Guard law that we are proposing gives them more power to augment what they currently have, no? Because of the lack of funding availability for them.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, ibig sabihin po ba nito, kasi yung under Section 51 and 52, tama ba na may firearms, armaments, and ammunition na available at pwede maging available sa PCG? So does this mean that outside of police and military assistance, PCG officers can use these firearms? Mr. Speaker, yun po ang tanong ko.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, yes, Madam, my esteemed colleague, that's correct. They can use firearms.
So, ibig sabihin, pwede na nilang gamitin yon. So, kapag
Yes.
nagkaroon ng tension sa West Philippine Sea, pwedeng magkaroon ng barilan, Mr. Speaker. Yun yung ano ko eh.
Siguro depende, ma'am, sa
Diba?
situation.
How
But
will that...
we're very proud that in spite of the tensions in the Philippine Sea, and in spite of the provocation of the Chinese, we noted that our Philippine Coast Guard are very, very prudent in addressing the tension.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Pero kasi, di ba, the military, sabi nila, ganun sila. The police, they said they're also like that. Ano? Responsible sila, nagkicarry ng firearms, etc. But then, accidents happen at magkakaroon ng ganitong mga issues. Diba, it's better to demilitarize yung area kesa yung magkaroon ng ganong mga issues, Mr. Speaker, ginoong sponsor. So, yun naman yung tanong namin, Mr. Speaker, kasi pag sinasabi mong i-highlight natin yung security, tas bigyan natin sila ng armas, di mas lalong tataas ang tension doon sa West Philippine Sea, Mr. Speaker. Kasi how will that parang maging kaiba sila sa ginagawa ng Philippine Navy, ng Philippine military natin, 'di ba, ng AFP at ng iba pa na merong armas. So ibig sabihin ang gusto natin gawin, armasan ang mga Philippine Coast Guard natin. So
Yes, yeah, I see your point, Madam Speaker. How do you call that? Yes, Madam, dear Congressman, that, how do you call that? The Coast Guard, please understand, under RA 9993 is what we call the armed, how do you call that? The armed side. No? Like the PNP, we have armed and non-armed. And also here, we have the armed and also the non-armed. Ano? So, I think they were, in fact, with all due respect, we could not assume that just because probably they have arms, that they will be like provocative already. Because from what I understand and up to what's happening now, we have been provoked several times. Binabangga po yung ating mga tawag nga nito, yung ating mga barko. Yung ating mga barko po naman, may mga kanyon at may mga arms, pero hindi po, our people, our Coast Guard, are very prudent in not engaging them confrontally.
thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I understand, these are maritime disputes. And maritime disputes po, halimbawa yung paggamit ng laser, paggamit ng iba pang hindi naman sila gumagamit ng armas, di ba? So, totoo po yun, meron tayong obligation na pangalagaan yung ating, particularly yung ating 12 nautical miles, kasi that is what we have in law. kailangan nating pangalagaan yung ating teritoryo. But kung maritime disputes po ito, kung aarmasan natin sila at magkakaroon ng, parang sinasabi nyo na po yun, na magkakaroon ng digmaan doon sa sea. So, Mr. Speaker, I do not understand kung bakit ganito yung thinking nung ating PCG sa ngayon. Kasi hindi rin naman ganito yung ibang mga bansa, di ba? Hindi rin naman sila armado in terms of Coast Guard, di ba? So, Mr. Speaker, ito po ang isa sa mga agam-agam namin na mabigyan talaga ng ganyang provocation yung West Philippine Sea. Sabi ko nga, as a matter of principle, ang talagang gusto namin sa Makabayan Block ay demilitarize ang area. Lahat ng bansa na pumapasok doon, demilitarize. Naintindihan po natin yung right to innocent passage, di ba? Pero itong mga ito, halimbawa, kung meron silang, kung nag-i-impede sila sa atin, sa mga mangingisda natin, kasi may mga issue yung mga mangingisda natin fini-fishing ban sila, kung ano-anong ginagawa sa kanila, pinahirapan nga sila, kinukuha yung kanilang mga Pero yung armasan mo yung PCG para protektahan yung mga mangingisda doon sa issue nila, hindi rin naman po yun, we do not agree, we do not agree with that. Ano? Parang yung ganong maritime dispute, pwede po yun, ireklamo natin, magkaroon ng, total, we won the UNCLOS, no? At dapat yun ipatupad. At dapat alam natin pare-pareho na sa international law of the sea, dapat igalang yung mga mangingisda sa iba't ibang lugar para makapasok. Hindi rin naman yun para ariin natin ng parang hindi na natin papasukin ng ibang mga mangingisda mula sa iba ding mga bansa. Kundi pare-pareho tayong makinabang sa kung ano ang meron tayo sa dagat. So, yun po yung namin. And if there are, halimbawa, sa usapin po ng mga structures doon sa islands na ginagawa ng mga Chinese, we should compel them na tanggalin yung mga yon. Pero hindi yung barilin sila. Alam niyo po yun, hindi yung maggera tayo dun sa kundi tanggalin yung mga structures, ipanawagan natin na igalang nila yung ating yung ating claim doon at yung dispute natin, kung kinakailangan na pag-usapan yon in a diplomatic way, pag-usapan yon. Hindi para magkaroon ng digmaan doon sa dagat, Mr. Speaker. So yun, yes, yung Mr. Speaker. First, meron naman tayong AFP, meron tayong Navy, meron tayong Philippine military na ginagawa yung trabaho nila, but the PCG na siyang nangangalaga dun sa it would really escalate the tensions kapag kanilagyan mo ng armas yung mismong PCG natin. Kasi 'di ba, kung halimbawa kung naputulan ng daliri, gaganti talaga yun. Di ba? Baka magkaputukan talaga. So, ganun yung ganun po yung inaalala natin dito sa issue ng pag-aarmas ng ating Philippine Coast Guard, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleague, yes, I fully sympathize with your position. In fact, we have to admit that we don't want a situation like that. But as regards the PCG, in their implementation of their maritime security, yes, we have to confirm that they are being armed, mostly probably as as a self-defense or to protect also the other passengers. Kasi minsan po sa mga barko, kunyari may terorista, hindi natin po alam, isipin na lang po natin kung yung ating PCG doon kamay na lang ang kanyang panglaban at wala man lang siya pangontra, So probably it will all devolve into how our PCG is being, being trained. And it is my understanding that PCG really is very stringent as regards discipline. And it is also my understanding that if ever this force, if used, will be the last option because we want peace, and like everybody else. So For that purpose, I would want to also inform that for purposes of maritime security, we're not only concentrating on the West Philippine Sea, my dear colleague. We also are looking into the smugglers, so the drug trafficking that are encountered, and all this, the things that are happening in the sea. So, napakalawak po talaga dito. And I have to admit, right now, even if we fully arm our PCG, we are so small compared to China at this time. So, sa takot na lang po natin, hindi talaga tayo lalaban. I'm sure for that. And that's the reason why up to now, in spite of their bullying in the Philippine Sea, we are still holding on our, how do you call that, yung timpi natin, no? Nagtitimpi pa rin tayo. And I think that's the best attitude that we should do. But rest assured, of course, that if ever the PCG is being given the authority to use firearms, they are not to fight war, but to protect our people in other places like the boats, against smugglers, and this drug, yung mga nagdadalaw ng drugs, no, etc., etc.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, but I think problema po ng sandatahang puwersa ng Pilipinas, yung usapin ng gano'n, yung terrorism, yung sinasabi ninyo, yung mga binabanggit ninyo. Tapos nandyan din yung immigration, nandyan din yung NSC, National Security Council. Actually, yun po yung mga may trabaho noon, may specific functions noon. So, we do not understand bakit natin aarmasan yung ating PCG. Kasabay nung meron naman tayong mga ganitong mga ahensya, which really should be, yun yung trabaho nila, no? Yun
yes,
po yung natin, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, Madam colleague, please understand that from the very title of the agency, it's the Philippine Coast Guard. They guard our coast. They guard our seas. So I think that would explain why they are primarily responsible for these concerns. Yes,
nagkakaunawaan po tayo doon. Pero yun nga, yung armasan mo ng baril yung ating ano. Actually, yun po talaga yung agam-agam namin dyan. It would really escalate the tensions kapag ganyan yung ano. Kasi imposible po na hindi gamitin kapag nagkaroon ng mga problema within the sea. No? Kaya yan po yung isa sa mga hindi namin gusto.
Madam, Mr. Speaker, Madam colleague, probably the best proof that what you are thinking will not happen is actually what already happened. Ilang beses na po tayong binubuli ng China, pero hindi naman natin po ginagamit yung mga baril natin na makipaglaban sa kanila.